Recording. Yeah. So in the last session, I covered what is a typical three-tier architecture and what is new n-tier architecture, right? So in additional to our previous applications like where we have web app and DB server, so we have in the client layer we got the application mobile web one more layer, that is mobile web layer, got added into the client layer. So apart from the regular web applications like just or web browser layout, we have mobile web browser layouts, right? As you can see here, right? So and what is the purpose of, we discussed what is the purpose of HTML, CSS and JavaScript in the presentation layer, and what all what can be, what programming languages can be used in logic layer or application tier, right? And what all databases can be there in the DB layer, right? In the persistence tier, we call this as persistence tier, right? And what is the purpose of this CSS?
For stylings.
Cascade style.
Cascading style.
Cascading styling.
Yeah, cascading. CSS stands for cascading style sheets.
Style
What is
sheets.
the purpose of that?
For adding colors and different layouts.
Layout of the web page.
Yeah, so CSS is the CSS files. In CSS files, like layout of the page will be defined, right? Right. In CSS files, the layout of the page will be, web page will be defined. And what is the purpose of JavaScript?
Client-side validation.
Right. Right. So let's move on to the next slide. So in this session, we will discuss like performance testing life cycle, right?
Yes.
And we'll start requirement gathering. All right. So first of all, let's discuss performance testing life cycle. So assume that a company want to do performance testing for their application, right? An application in a company or any organization want to do performance testing for their application, whether it is web application or a mobile application or whatever it is, mobile app or whatever it is, right? So they want to, first of all, they they want to choose they want to give that project to some vendor, like some service based company like TCS or CTS or Tech Mahindra or some other company, right? Some other organization, right? You got it. So if they don't have in-house team, right? If they don't have in-house performance testing team, so obviously they will go for some service-based company, right? So for that, what they will do is the client will, or the organization who want to do performance testing, they will float something called RFI. They will float something called RFI. So RFI stands for request for information. You can note it down if someone is taking running notes. You can note it down, right? RFI stands for request for information. Right, and next RFP stands for request for proposal. Right. So first let's understand what is RFI. Okay. So RFI is a standard set of questionnaire. There will be certain like 10 to 20 questions, to get the information about the service based companies, right? And now who all will respond to this RFI? So any service based companies who are looking to buy, get some projects, right? So they will respond to the any service based company, like who is trying to get some business, or who is trying to get some clients, right? They will respond to this RFI. So RFI stands for RFA contains a set of, standard set of questionnaire, like, 10 to 20 questions, like to gauge the, expertise of a company, to gauge the expertise or, let me show you one sample RFA, then you will get a clear understanding. Please give me a moment. I will share my screen. So so you see here, right? So UBC means University of British Columbia, right? So there is a particular university they who want to do performance testing for their website, for their application, right? So this is the client. They want to do performance testing for this for their particular application. Okay. Now like they have to decide on like whom to give the project, right? So for that, they floated this RFI. They floated means they requested for some information. RFI stands for request for information, right? So they requested for some information. So what information is that? So as I said, like RFI contains a standard set of questionnaire, right? So as you can see here, right? What portion of your business is dedicated to performance testing? So they are asking the service-based companies like how much what portion of your business is dedicated to performance testing, how many full-time, part-time, contract performance testing staff members are there at your organization, right? And what are the roles and responsibilities of your performance test team structure, right? So like you can see the questions, right? And these are our responses. Okay, so I filled these responses. Okay, I masked the company name, right? And with a placeholder, I kept a placeholder. So service based, you got it right. They will ask these some questions like this, right? Some information like this, right? And you have to, that service based company has to respond like this. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
So
Yes.
these are the responses. I am working in a service based company at that time, so I responded to that RFI, right? So one of the performance testing team member can respond to that RFI, right? So at that time I worked on that RFI, and I responded, I got this, I collected this information from our company's website and my competency. Okay. That 12% of our total business is from performance testing assignments at that time. So this is almost like in 2015, before 2015. Okay. And how many full-time, part-time contract performance testing staff members are there at our company, at your company? So every service-based company, CTS or TCS or Tech Mahindra, like they will respond to this RFI, right? So let's quickly see some more information what they are expecting, right? What is the average team size for performance projects, right? Describe your onboarding process for performance projects, right? And I gave the onboarding procedure, right? And what is the number of concurrent performance projects so your company typically takes on? Describe the process on how do you resolve issues brought up by your customers, right? So there are standard set of questions like and we respond to that RFI. Not just one company, but one organization, but all the service-based companies who are looking to get some business, like they will respond to the RFI with their information, with their organization's information. Clear? So this is, the question here is, or the query here is, describe your approach to performance testing projects. And this is the approach of that, service-based company, that service-based company follow. Clear? Right. So once, they get a response to the different, from different service-based companies, right? So the client will shortlist some service-based companies, right? And they will ask the shortlisted service-based company to submit an RFP. RFP stands for request for proposal, right? They will explain their application, they will explain their requirement in brief, and they will ask to come up with a solution. Okay. RFP stands for request for proposal, or that is also called as solution document. So So for at that time, what they what our client did is like UBC did is they shortlisted some 4 organizations, 4 service-based companies, and they scheduled like in a week, like they allocated 1 day for each service-based company, and they have conducted some meetings, right? Some online meetings, and they explained their application architecture, they explained their requirements. Okay, UBC has explained us like what is their requirement, what are the issues that they are facing, and so on. You got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right? So they explained their target user load, they explained what are the performance issues, they explained what is their application architecture, and asked us to come up with a solution or RFP. They asked us to prepare an RFP. So RFP contains, so we have to understand the the application architecture, and we need to understand their requirements at a high level, and we have to come up with a solution. When I say solution, so we have to tell them what type of load test we have to do for their application, right? So we discussed different performance testing types, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So now we have to decide like what type of test we have to perform for their solution, for their application, right?
Yeah.
And how many how many resources are required to work on the project, and how much and how many days required, right? Or what are the timelines, what would be the timelines of the project, how many resources are required, and what would be the team composition, means how many junior resources should be there, how many senior resources should be there, right? And and the commercials. Okay, commercials means like how much we charge per resource. For junior resource, how much that company charges, that service based company charges, or for senior resource or for manager, like how much per hour, how what is the billing rate, right? So all these will be mentioned in the RFP. Clear?
Yes.
Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So it is something like this. You want to buy a, so you want to buy some jewelry, right? Diamond jewelry, right? So you will, you will visit my couple of shops, couple of jewelry shops, and you will take quotations from them, right? You will see the models, you will see the quotations and all, right?
Yeah.
And then what does that quotation contain? You
Item.
selected some jewelry, and you asked for a quotation. What does the vendor give? What does the shopkeeper give you?
Price.
The item price, weight.
Yeah, he will give the per gram price, right? And like if it is diamond jewelry, like he will ask, he will give the specifications, like how many carats those diamonds are, and he will give what are the making charges and all, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the GST? So he will prepare a quotation with all these details, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So in the same way, like we are, RFP contains like, what is the solution that we are providing, right? And like what would be the billing rate, and what are the different types of tests we have to do, right? What are the different types of tests we have to do for their application, right?
Yeah.
So we will provide a solution, right? So not just one company, but they will take RFP or solution from different service-based companies. Now, once they receive these RFPs from different service-based companies, client will evaluate all of them, all those solutions, right? Client will evaluate all of those solutions, and they will choose one organization, right? Obviously, like they can award the project to one service-based company, right? They have to choose one of them, right? So they will award the project to one service-based company, right? Now, once a once a service-based company gets gets a project, so they will start with the NFR, something called NFR. NFR stands for
Non-functional requirements.
non-functional requirements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once once a service-based company get a project, like they will start with this requirement gathering, right? So they will like while RFP, like they will collect requirements at a very high level, but like here once the project is awarded, like we will like whole team members will be involved in this requirement gathering, detailed requirement gathering, right? So we'll discuss this requirement gathering in detail. So I have like around 40 requirements that we gather, right? So we'll discuss in detail. So for today I'll explain the performance testing life cycle, and then from tomorrow onwards, like from the next session, we'll discuss the requirement gathering in detail, right? So we'll collect all the client requirements, and like we will prepare a document called test plan. We'll prepare a document called test plan. Okay. So we'll discuss test plan in detail. Once we complete the requirement gathering, we'll discuss the test plan in detail, right? So test plan document contains like what is the objective of testing, right? So like I have one more slide for test plan document as well after this requirement gathering. Let me quickly show you that. So these are the components of a test plan. This is what a test plan document contains. Okay. So test plan document contains project overview, what is the application architecture, right? So while this like we will collect the application architecture in the RFP phase, right? So we'll put that application architecture into the test plan document, right? And NFR signed off NFRs, right? Performance test scenarios. What are these performance test scenarios?
Um,
Different flows.
Yeah, critical business flows for that application, right? Critical business flows are important business flows for that application, right? So we do performance testing for only those. We discuss some performance test scenarios, right? We
Yes, yes.
discuss some critical business flows for a travel application, right? And for a Facebook application, right? And for a net banking application, we discuss some critical business flows, right?
yes.
So you'll put all these into the test plan document for that application, whatever corresponding to that application. Yeah. Right. So and performance test approach. What is the performance test approach? Right? And we'll discuss in detail, including goal of each individual test, entry and exit criteria, and all this. Right. For now, let's go back to the performance testing life cycle. So we'll prepare a test plan document, and we have to share it to the client and ask the client to give a sign off. Sign off means client should give a written. Client should give a mail. Client should send a mail saying that they are okay with the test plan document, right? Or they may suggest some changes, right? But you should get an official sign off, right? You should get an official sign off means you should get in the form of a mail, okay, not just in a call or something. You got it? Yes.
Yes, yes.
You should get an affirmation from the client or confirmation from the client that they are okay with the test plan document. So once they give a sign off to the test plan document, then we start scripting. We start developing the scripts, right? Scripts for each business, each critical business flow. Okay. So once we, suppose from this phase, every team member will be involved. Of course, every team member should be involved from the requirement gathering phase. Okay. Requirement gathering phase, or, while preparing the RFP, RFI and RFP, every team member should be involved, right? So, but, so even though every team member is not involved in this, generally senior team members will be involved in this RFI and RFP in some organizations. So even though like junior resources are not involved in RFI and RFP, from requirement gathering phase, everyone should be involved.
Yes.
Every team member should be involved from the requirement gathering, because they have to, each team member should understand the requirements, client requirements, and they should understand, what is the scope of that project, right? They should understand what is given in the test plan document and what is the scope, what is in scope, what is out of scope, and all, right? And scripting, will be done by generally junior resources, right? Team lead and project leads will be like, so, they will be involved in client interaction or client communication, test plan, RFP, RFI, and all, right? But in the scripting phase, junior resources will be involved mostly. So once the resources, once the scripting is completed, right? Or as and when a script is developed, like a senior resource should review the script. ideally script review should happen.
Okay.
Each script should be reviewed by a senior resource, right? And they should do sanity testing for each script. Sanity testing means they should run the script with some proper test data, and they have to check the output of the script, functionality of the script, as well as they have to check with the UI.
Yeah.
Suppose like if it is a net banking application,
Yeah.
one resource has developed a script for fund transfer, right? So they will give you the test environment, right? Not production. You will not do all these in production, right? They will give, client will provide the test environment. They have to do some, execute some, or add a beneficiary. So one resource developed a script for adding a beneficiary. Okay. So while reviewing the script, like they have to run that script and verify whether that beneficiary is getting added in that account or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And proper details are getting populated or not. All the required details are getting populated or not. Right. So they have to, ideally this should happen. A senior resource in the team should be doing the script review and sanity testing of each script. And then next comes setting up test environment. Okay. Setting up test environment means like setting up the test tool, right? Whether it is load runner or JMeter, like, that has to be configured, and, like, load generator should be configured, and all this test data should be developed, and all this, right? And then smoke or sanity or shakeout test, right? See, all these are synonyms, are used interchangeably. Okay. So smoke test or sanity test or shakeout test, right? All these are one and the same. They should, that this testing should be done before doing the actual load test, right? So we have to do smoke test or sanity or shakeout test. The objective of doing this is to fix any script issues and test environment issues. So here sanity testing is done individually for each script. Now here what we do is, in smoke test we'll run all the scripts together.
Okay.
And if there are any script issues, and this will be done in test environment, it should be done in test environment. So here sanity testing of each script will be done in their machine, in our own machine. Okay. So but here like we have to do this smoke or sanity in test environment to identify any test environment issues, test data issues, and so on. Sometimes you'll have a lot of test data. For example, you want to test an application with 5,000 users, right? You may be having like thousands of test data. And when I say test data, username and password, for example, right? So some passwords may expire, right?
Yeah.
So we, to find out the test data issues also, we have to do a smoke test. We have to make sure that all the users are able to log in, right?
Yes.
Suppose client provided from some test data to you, or you have prepared some test data, right? So you have to verify that your all your credentials are working fine.
Yes.
So without verifying, if you start a load test, and you see like you see some login issues, okay, again you have to segregate application issues and data issues, test data issues, isn't it? You started a load
Yes.
test, and you started seeing some login issues, right? Some users are failing to log in. So you have to identify like whether it is because of test data, because of invalid credentials, or is it because of the application issues, right? So to sort out that, to avoid that, like we have to verify the test data before starting the actual test, right? And once we do this, then we go for the actual test executions. We'll go for this actual test executions, right? Whether it can be load test or stress test or soak test, or what are the other different types of tests?
Scalability, volume test.
Endurance test.
Right.
Volume
Test.
test.
Right. Yeah. Volume testing, or like
Scalability.
scalability, or failover testing,
Spike testing.
Like,
Spike testing.
stress testing, and spike testing, and so on. So we, whatever required for that application. Remember that, right? So not all applications require all different types of tests. Yeah. Not all applications require all the tests. Based on the application, you decide what test it requires. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I think we did not discuss failover testing, right? In the previous session, we'll discuss that failover testing. Okay. If time permits, we will discuss today. All right. So next, once we are done with the test executions, we have to analyze the test results and we have to provide any recommendations. We have to analyze the test results. Say, for example, you identified some performance issues. After half an hour into the test, you saw like response times are going high, or there are high number of errors, or your application stopped responding, right? Then you have to analyze the results, test results, and you have to provide the tuning recommendations, right? Again, like, mostly senior resources will be involved in this tuning recommendations and all. Okay. But, like everyone in the team should understand, like, should analyze the results and they should be able to understand the test process, right? What issues are identified and, how to fix those issues. Next.
Yes.
So once we provide so basically once after that, once the test is completed, we give a high level report to the client first, right? On the same day. Okay. We'll provide a high level report to the client on the same day. And we take 1 or 2 days to prepare a detailed report. Okay. So, and after 1 or 2 days, like we will submit a detailed report to the client, wherein we will mention like, what are the issues that are identified, what is the resource utilization, how are the response times with respect to SLAs.
Yeah.
Right? We discussed what are these SLAs and all, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll provide some recommendations to the client and we'll provide some recommendations to the client. So to avoid those issues, we will provide some recommendations, right? Some tuning recommendations. Okay. So then the development team or, DBA should implement those. I mean, or else they have to do some tuning to the application. Means they have to reconfigure the different configurations, different software configurations or hardware configurations. So based on the issue that is identified, right? Based on the issue that is identified, they have to do something called application tuning or performance tuning for their application. Okay. And say, for example, I'll give some simple use case. You identified that, CPU is on one of the servers or on all the servers, like CPU is, hitting 100% or 90%, right?
Yeah.
So you will suggest them, like, you have to find out what is the root cause of that issue, why, there is high CPU utilization, right? And you have to use some tuning recommendation. Our development team has to find out how to fix that issue, right? And, they will try to fix that issue. And once they feel that they fix the issue, to validate that, again, they will come for testing, another round of test execution. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So let's take some analogy here, some real-time solution, some real-time, scenario. You gave your bike for service, you gave your bike or car for servicing, right? So you said that, like you identified that the mileage is very less, right? So you tell the service center guy that, I'm getting very less mileage. Like I am supposed to get some, some per liter, I'm supposed to get some 50 to 60 kilometers, but I am getting only 40 kilometers per liter, right? So you identified some, some issue, right? And you mentioned the same to your service center guy, right? So he will tune the engine, right? He'll tune the engine and he will, clean the carburetor, right? those who have given bike service, like you might have heard this terms, right? They will clean the carburetor or they will tune the engine, and to check that they will verify, right? They will use some 200 ml or 250 ml of the fuel, and they will test the mileage, right?
Yes.
You will not simply, or else once the vehicle is handed out to you, you will again check the mileage, right? You will not just simply believe him, and you will not ignore that, right? If you are bothered about the mileage.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So in the same way, to validate the application tuning, right, we will do another round of text execution.
Yeah.
Right. So once this is done, then so we will do couple of text executions, like until we make sure that the performance issues are sorted out, right? And once we are done with the text executions, like we will prepare a final report, and we will ask the client to sign off, to give a sign off for the project, right? We'll ask the client to give a sign off for the project,
Yes.
right? So once we get so client should agree that all the performance testing activities that are committed in the test plan document, right, they are done to his satisfaction, and he got the output whatever he is expecting, right? So he should provide a formal sign off, and then your project ends, right? If it is a one time assignment, or if it is a fixed bid or something, so not fixed bid, so like if it is a time bound project, if it is a time bound project, if it is not a continuous project, right? So you will ask client to provide a sign off, right? And then once the client provides a sign off to you, sign off to the sign off mentioning that the performance testing activities are done, performance testing is done as per the committed test, whatever committed in the test plan, right? So then the project will be closed. So this would be the overall performance testing life cycle, right? In a scenario where client is coming to a service based company, and if it is a time bound project, right, there will be some projects which will be running for years and years.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
okay, sir.
So unless until you will have something called SOW, statement of work. So there will be it will be running for years, like they will be having every 1 year or every 6 months the contract will be renewed, right? And there are many projects which will be running for years, because as development is going on, functional testing and performance testing will be going in parallel, and that continues forever. We'll take a pause here. So if you have any queries, we can discuss. I'm pausing the record. Guys, any queries in that performance testing life cycle? So this would be one of the top 5 FAQs. Can you explain the performance testing life cycle? Okay.
Okay.
So once you explain the performance testing life cycle, the next question can be like, what are the requirements that you gather in the requirement gathering phase? What requirements do you gather, right? What are the NFRs that you gather in the requirement gathering phase, right? So we'll discuss that in the next session.
Kishore, I have one question.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm using load runner for load testing. So what all things would be there in in this setup test environment? What all things would come up in this section?
Okay, so you need to configure the license. If it is not configured, already configured, you need to configure the license. You need to set up the load generators, and you
Okay.
have to verify the connectivity from. You have to verify application accessibility from the controller and load generator machines, and so
So
on.
so shouldn't it be before the scripting? Because when we have everything in place, then only we should start scripting. Shouldn't
No,
it be?
need not be. So you may be doing scripting on your local machine.
Okay. Okay.
You will be generally doing scripting on your local machine,
Hmm.
because you know, like if so you will not use the test environment for scripting.
We will doing it in the local machine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other queries? So once you know, once you explain the requirement gathering, then the next question would be, are you ever involved in, you know, in a test plan preparation, in preparing a test plan document? So what all does a test plan document contain, right? So these can be the questions, going forward, right? So, you know, which we will discuss in detail. So once we discuss the requirement gathering and test plan document, like we will start with scripting, right? So once scripting is done, like I will cover like scripting on 4 to 5 sample applications and one real-time application, 1 or 2 real-time applications, right? So 2 real-time applications. We will take one, you know, if possible, I have one Java application. So once that is done, I'll try to give some .NET application, or else we'll cover the .NET application in the sample application. Okay. And once we are done with the scripting, like we will review the scripts, right? As you are developing the scripts, you have to share the scripts to me for review, right? So I will, you know, like you have to upload your scripts to GitHub, right? So I want to give you like hands-on on GitHub as well. So I'll explain what is GitHub and, you know, like why do we use GitHub and all, right? So, and you know, like you have to upload your scripts, you have to work on the scripts and upload the scripts for review. I will be reviewing the scripts and I will be verifying your scripts. I will be running the scripts and verifying those scripts, your scripts. And then, you know, like we'll discuss what is setting up test environment and how to do smoke test. We'll prepare a checklist as well we'll prepare a checklist for smoke test, and you know, or else we'll prepare a checklist for the test executions. Okay, I'll share one checklist. So what all we need to take care of before starting a load test, right?
Okay.
And we will try to analyze the test results, and we will, you know, implement some tuning recommendations. So we will do some optimize, or we'll do some performance tuning, and again, like to validate the tuning, like we will do another round of execution. So if it is sample application, it will be completely in your control, right? So if it is an online application, you cannot do, you know, like we cannot do any changes to the configuration, right? So that's the reason we use sample applications, like we use 4 to 5 sample applications. I'll share the sample applications as well. So I'll make you install on your machine. Okay. At least one sample application I'll make you install, right? And we'll take some online applications also for scripting.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'll stop it for today.